Good morning. Welcome to the forecast discussion for April 16th, 2012. It is 8:38 a.m. And boy, is it warm out there already. Temperatures already in the mid 50s to the mid 60s throughout the Philadelphia and New York City metropolitan area. Of course, our cold spot, as always, is Messina, around 54 degrees. And a dew point around 54. Surprisingly, there isn't any fog, but we certainly have plenty of clear skies, and we're setting up for a very warm day throughout the northern Mid-Atlantic. We're talking about temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s along the immediate coast, and mid to upper 80s throughout the rest of the region. I would not be surprised if you see a few lower 90s over the interior, over portions of, let's say, around Newark, northeastern New Jersey, southwestern New Jersey, right around the Philadelphia airport. Don't be surprised if you see some locations touch 90 degrees as we have winds starting to downslope just a little bit off of the Appalachian Mountains. That causes an enhancement of the temperatures and could boost temperatures above what's being forecasted right now in the mid to upper 80s. Combine that with dew points that are likely going to be in the 50s, possibly even touching 60 degrees, and you are talking about a rather summer-like day. But we have a cold front approaching. Now, when we take a look at the surface map, you can see high pressure sitting up off the coast here. And this high pressure system, combined with this cold front approaching, is driving up warm air from the southeast into the northern Mid-Atlantic on the heels of a southwesterly wind. So clearly we have high pressure and control setting up for a beautiful day. But this cold front is on the move. And when you take a look at the radar, you think, hey, looks like we're finally going to see some rain and some substantial rain. But that doesn't look like it's going to be the case, and I'm going to show you why in the next few seconds. First, let's take a look at the infrared satellite picture. You can see this is the upper level winds. Now notice we have very strong upper level winds setting up over the upper Midwest, driving into the Great Lakes. And what this is showing me is that the strongest disturbances and the strongest lifting is moving towards the eastern Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River Valley, not towards the northern Mid-Atlantic. In fact, we have an upper level ridge in place over the east coast, and that's what's producing very comfortable and very clear skies throughout the entire eastern coast of the United States. So as you can see, we have an upper level ridge, we have a high pressure at the surface, and you have your strongest lifting and dynamics lifting up towards eastern Canada. And this shows up really well in the latest model guidance. When we take a look at the NAM model guidance, and I'm using the NAM because it's pretty much at its optimal period of forecasting. And what you could see here by this evening, by tonight around 1 a.m., all your strongest dynamics, all your strongest lifting at 500 millibars is all focused over the Great Lakes and over southeastern Canada. And when you have all this rising air located here, you have to have sinking air, which happens to be over the northern Mid-Atlantic. And so when you have your cold front passage right here at 1 a.m. Moving through the region, you end up with dry air in place. And so as a result, with all this sinking air at the upper levels, combined with a rather stable atmosphere this late at night, especially this time of year, you end up with pretty much dry conditions as this cold front moves through. I can't rule out an isolated shower, let's say over Connecticut or maybe even extreme northern New Jersey, but most locations will remain dry as this cold front moves through. And by the way, temperatures will finally fall back to near normal by tomorrow. So, well, when I say near normal, let's say upper 60s to mid 70s rather than summer-like, like as if it's in the middle of summer in July and August. So let's take a look at the rest of the forecast, because I do have some good news about the potential for rainfall, because we need it big time in New Jersey. I mean, with all this dry air and now with it being very warm out there, people are likely to go out to the beach or just go out to a park, maybe have a barbecue. The fire danger is going to be very high, even with this cold front moving through. So use some caution over the next few days. If you're going outside, you're going to have a barbecue, you're going to be dealing with a very dry boundary layer, very dry grass, shrubbery, and it doesn't take much to start a fire. So use some caution if you're going outdoors. So here we are this evening. As you can see, our high pressure ridge is shifting off the coast. Cold front's approaching, but it's too dry and too much sinking air. Not the right type of pattern for a cold front passage to produce rainfall for tonight. So that cold front moves through. Tomorrow, high pressure regains control, but this is a Canadian high pressure, so the humidity backs off big time, and temperatures return to only slightly above normal instead of 20 degrees above normal. As we move through the rest of the week, high pressure will be in control for Wednesday, but we start to see a little bit of a shift in the weather pattern as we move towards the end of this week. You see this disturbance right here? This disturbance is going to dive towards the southeast, and as it's doing so, it's going to start to cut off from the polar jet stream. And that's important because what we're going to set up is an upper level low. And by Saturday evening, we're going to actually see the threat for rainfall. So for much of this week, dry conditions can be expected, temperatures near to slightly above normal in the mid 60s to mid 70s. Then by Friday, we'll see increasing clouds. Saturday, a little bit better threat for scattered showers. Still widely scattered to mostly isolated on Saturday. Temperatures near normal in the mid to upper 60s. And then on Sunday, well, then we actually get the potential for rainfall. Why? Because this upper level low sets up over the Tennessee River Valley. We have a southeasterly wind at all levels of the atmosphere coming off the Atlantic. You see that at the surface as well. So what I'm expecting on Sunday is a rather wind, rainy, raw day right now. That strongly depends on the development of this upper level low. If this upper level low is a little bit further south, we missed most of this rain. If it's a little bit further north, well, it won't be as intense as the heaviest rainfall will be more directed towards New England. So it just has to set up just right. But you can see at the upper levels and the mid levels with the winds, we have very strong winds coming off of the Atlantic, and that means the potential for periods of rain. And by the way, the temperatures, they're pretty much going to be around 59 to 60 degrees. This isn't going to be like where it's in the 40s and it's raw and it's horrible out. Pretty much we go back to near to slightly below normal, upper 50s to lower 60s, which you kind of expect with a rainstorm. But what's interesting with this weather pattern as we move forward is that upper level low is going to take some time to kick out of here. And if it sets up as it's showing with the model guidance today, then what we could be looking at is a prolonged period of temperatures remaining near to slightly below normal in the upper 50s to mid 60s, and a higher threat for scattered showers, which we really need to kill this drought and also to reduce this fire threat. Now, if this upper level low is a little bit further south than what's being forecasted, and when I say a little bit, let's say instead of this location here, it's set up more towards, let's say, southern Georgia and around the Florida Panhandle. Then what you end up with is the influence of this huge ridge over the eastern United States. So we end up much warmer and drier than forecasted with just a small shift in this upper level low a little bit further south. So this forecast isn't concrete, there's a lot of volatility in it, but at least there is a chance for a period of rainfall Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Again, a small shift to the south and you end up with basically what we have right now, dry conditions and temperatures above normal. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this setup and see how it evolves over the next several days. That is your forecast for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. Follow the latest weather information at nynjpaweather.com and nynjpaweather on Twitter and Facebook. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there.